Mamdani, I don't understand this. Like when I was teaching writing classes and business writing and creative writing at the university, I used to always use this quote from Ernest Hemingway. Hemingway used to say that every great writer has built in within them a shock-proof, indestructible bullshit detector. And it's important to listen to that when you're going over your writing, your first and second draft, and cut out all the BS. If you're watching this right now and everybody that I know that has even a semblance of intelligence, you can see right through this guy. I mean, wait till you see this acting job. He starts talking about how the real victim in 9/11 is his aunt who's afraid to ride the subway. Watch this.
I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City. I want to speak to the memory of my aunt. Who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
I mean, my Hemingway built-in shock-proof bullshit detector is just ringing. I mean, I've got a symphony going off inside me when it comes to my shock-proof BS detector. And I know, how can anybody listen to that? It's like the same thing with Newscomb. How can you listen to this guy and not hear the sewage-spewing, egregious lies that just come pouring out with such cavalier ease? It's scary. This guy, I mean, this guy deserves an Oscar. He is such an amazing actor. Well, guess what? It turns out the truth is that it wasn't his aunt, okay? His aunt wasn't anywhere around during 9/11. Actually, she was nowhere near. It was actually his dad's cousin. Mamdani said he was talking about Fuhi, my father's cousin, as he tried to backtrack and backpedal. Fuhi means paternal aunt in Urdu or Hindi, and Mamdani's campaign did not provide the cousin's full name when asked. And why on earth would you ask why would you call your who calls their dad's cousin aunt? Watch as he tries to backpedal here.
How will you respond to President
So
Trump?
recently, in a recent address about Islamophobia, you referenced your aunt and some of the harassment she was facing post 9/11. Is that a blood relative?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was speaking about my aunt. I was speaking about Zehra Fouhi, my father's cousin, who sadly passed away a few years ago. And for the takeaway from my more than 10-minute address about Islamophobia in this race and in this city to be the question of my aunt tells you everything about Andrew Cuomo and his inability to reckon with a crisis of his own.
Oh, well, in that case, Mr. Mamdani, I mean, this guy is just a walking BS artist. He is a BS con man artist, and I just don't understand how anybody is falling for this. Check out this video, which he's now denying, because he says, I don't believe in defunding the police. I support the police. Everybody who has any sense, anybody who believes in law and order, who supports deporting all of these criminal, gangster, rapist thugs that Biden and Kamala let into our country because they can't win elections anymore. They can only win by importing voters. Everybody who supports this is worried about Mamdani because actually the NYPD has made it clear they're going to quit. They're going to leave the city if this guy wins. And he says, no, I'm not. He's made many statements in the past saying he's going to defund the police. He says, no, I don't want to defund the police. I want to work with the police. Well, this new video is going viral all over the internet where Mamdani actually says that the NYPD, the police, when you see that boot is on your neck, it is being laced by the IDF, which is an anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish sentiment, which again has a lot of Jewish New Yorkers. There's a huge contingent of Jewish Americans in New York City who are just, rife with fear and tenseness and nervousness, as they should be. Listen.
The importance for me of international solidarity is that it takes me out of the American political landscape and reminds me just how tame some of the things are that I'm actually calling for.
True.
And it reminds me of the necessity of grounding ourselves in the struggles as opposed to the fights around the struggles. For anyone to care about these issues, we have to make them hyperlocal. We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF.
J.D. Vance, our great vice president, who I hope runs in 2028, says in a post on X, according to Zohran, the real victim of 9/11 was his auntie, who got some allegedly bad looks. Yeah. I think that's a great way of putting that into perspective. You know, I thought New York we were never going to forget. I thought what happened after September 11th, 2001, the slogan was, "We shall never forget." Well, come November 4th, I hope to God you keep that in mind. So this is really an interesting development. Andrew Ogles, who's the 5th District Representative of Tennessee, wrote a letter to Pam Bondi asking for Pam Bondi to follow up on a request that he made back in June to investigate Mamdani for subject of denaturalization proceedings for possible willful misrepresentation, concealment of material facts during his naturalization process. So he says here in an interesting, if you look at this letter right here, he says right here in this main paragraph, third from the top, he says, the American people expect equal enforcement of our immigration laws, particularly when potential ties to designated terrorist organizations are involved. No individual, regardless of political office or public profile, should be shielded from accountability if credible evidence indicates deception or concealment during the citizenship process. So in the last couple of sentences of that second to last paragraph, what he says is how he's backing up that claim is that his ongoing rhetoric sympathetic to anti-Israel and anti-U.S. movements, whether those were disclosed during his naturalization, because failure to disclose such affiliations would constitute a material misrepresentation under federal law. And based on that failure to disclosure, there are legitimate grounds that maybe Zohran could be not only denaturalized, but deported. Bye-bye. See ya. Hasta la pasta. Wouldn't want to be ya. You know what? There's really, really a low probability that anybody's going to be able to, unless there's a miracle in the next, 4 or 5, 6 days, just a week away, folks. November 4th is next week. So, I mean, barring any miracle, and this could be the Christmas miracle of 2025, this guy is a shoo-in to win. I know that sounds absolutely painfully hard to swallow. That is a painful pill to swallow for anybody who loves America, for anybody who loves meritocracy, capitalism, all the principles and values that our great country is founded on. I know that's a painful pill to swallow, but this could be the miracle that we all have been looking for. And I think Pam Bondi needs to take it seriously, and she needs to take it seriously now, and let them know how you feel, because the DOJ, the White House, Caroline Leavitt, Stephen Miller, they all watch this show. Let them know how you feel in the comments down below.